decides to become, I don't know, Elsa's.
Exactly. But it's all.
Okay, I have 7 PM, so if CNET is ready, I'll call to order the Board of Supervisors meeting for Monday, April 18th, 2023. If we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we'll go to the manager for announcements.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to members of the board, staff, and the public for joining us this evening for the April 18th regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors. This meeting has been properly advertised in accordance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act as a hybrid meeting with the option to attend virtually and in person here in the main meeting room. If you are in attendance virtually using the Zoom platform and wish to speak on behalf of an agenda item, please say your name, municipality of residence, and the topic you wish to speak on when the chairwoman calls on you. If you are attending in person with us this evening in the main meeting room and wish to speak on behalf of an agenda item, please address the board at the podium and state your name, municipality of residence, and topic you wish to speak on. Prior to commencing the meeting, I have a few short procedural items to cover. First, members of the public attending using the Zoom platform are asked to remain muted during the meeting to prevent any ambient noise from disrupting the meeting. If a member of the public is acknowledged by the chair, they may unmute their microphone for their question or comment. Secondly, board members are asked to indicate their name when motioning or seconding a motion so that the minutes may accurately reflect the action taken. And finally, a roll call of the Board of Supervisors will now be taken to ensure that all members can hear and interact using the Zoom meeting platform. Please indicate that you are here when your name is called. Ms. Strickland?
Here.
Ms. Stevens?
Here.
Mr. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Gracie Griffin?
Here.
Ms. Dineni? Here. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, and I'll announce too at this time that we've had 2 executive sessions, one on April 12th for personnel, one on April 17th for personnel and real estate matters. And moving on to public input. If there's anyone here tonight who would like to speak on an item not currently on the agenda, you can raise your hand virtually or signify if you're in the room. And seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the minutes. We have 2 sets of minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
This is Patty. Motion to approve the minutes listed in the agenda.
And a second?
This is Corey, I second.
Thanks. Any changes or corrections to those sets of minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Thank you. Okay, under authorities, boards, and...
Excuse me, Chair.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to make a motion to remove something from the agenda. Would this be a good time to do that? It's the discussion I'm supposed to be leading, and I won't be here, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Would
you,
this be a good time to do that, since I won't be here when it comes up?
yeah, so we took, yeah, sorry, so we did take that vote on the minutes, okay. So,
Yep.
yes, if you would like to make a motion to make a,
To
change
remove my consent
to-
agenda item?
Consent agenda?
Well, it's,
Item number
it's
6.
now has moved through the consent agenda and is fully on the agenda.
sorry, your
And-
board discussion item, the sign.
Yes, discussion
No.
XIF. XIF, discussion on elements of the sign and zoning ordinance.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah, I think that's,
move that I would like to remove that from the agenda.
okay.
Second?
Okay, any discussion?
No.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, so we had no authorities, boards, and commission reports. Up next is special reports, and we have a number of calendar items under our DEI initiatives. And moving on to COG and regional committee reports. Up first was the Human Resources Committee with a cancellation notice. Next was the Climate Action and Sustainability Committee. Jeremy?
Yes, so we met on April 10th. A few items noted in the curbside organics collection pilot. That is intended only for Ferguson Township at this time, so I did inquire, there might be some folks on Devonshire, Park Lane, Cornwall Road, that may be in the pilot, but the Ferguson Township residents that live on those streets won't. The food scrap drop-off pilot, which is different, you'll be able to take food scraps to established sites within each of the 5 municipalities that are in the COG refuse, regional refuse contract. We also did discuss briefly I believe it's the Climate Action Adaptation Plan Dashboard for Municipal Action. Members were asked to narrow down the 82 different actions that are more municipal focused, and the committee will report those back on May 31st. I have been in discussion with the chair and the manager as to, how our board will participate in that. So more to come on that. And then we looked over the results of the 2023 Refuse and Recycling Survey. The Refuse and Recycling Program Administrator did state that they would be welcome to attend any municipal meeting to discuss that survey, so.
Is that everything? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, questions for Jeremy on that? Seeing none, we'll move to the Public Safety Committee.
My report is in the agenda, and if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Questions on that report? Okay, thank you. Joint Facilities and Finance Committee meeting?
Yeah, that would have been last Thursday. And God, something really snuck up on me Wednesday and kind of felt like it was bashed in the back of the head Thursday. So I didn't make it to that. Sorry. I guess you guys will have to follow up with what was done there.
Thank you. And then up next is the Center County Metropolitan Planning Organization Coordinating Committee meeting. That's actually this evening, so I attended the first part of that. And the agenda is included, nothing really to add to that. I'll be able to report following the rest of it next time. And the executive committee has been moved to April 19th, so I don't have a report on that. Okay, other committee reports, seeing none, so moving to staff reports, and up first is the manager's report.
Madam Chair, I will provide a manager's report at the next May 2nd regular meeting.
Thank you. Okay, and Public Works Director's report, anything to add or highlight on that, Dave Modricker?
I believe whatever is in my report that might need further attention will come in front of the board as a action item or work session. So, no, I don't have anything in addition to what you see. I can answer any questions.
Thanks. Questions on that report? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, Planning and
You're
Zoning
welcome.
Director report. Anything to add or highlight there?
My report's in the agenda. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer any of them.
Thank you. Questions on that report? Seeing none. Up next is the Chief of Police report.
Once again, you have the report. More than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions for Chief Petrick? And seeing none, we will move to unfinished business. First up is a public hearing on a resolution of the Township of Ferguson, Center County, Pennsylvania, authorizing a monetary contribution to Center Kitchen Collective. Ms. Martin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At a special meeting of the Board of Supervisors held last Wednesday, the board approved a monetary contribution in the amount of $20,000 to Center Kitchen Collective, and also directed staff to prepare a resolution detailing the cost match situation. Provided with the agenda packet is a draft resolution for the board's consideration.
Thank you. And this is a public hearing, so I'll open the public hearing first for comments on this item. And I am seeing none, so I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
This is Patty. I move that the Board of Supervisors approve the resolution authorizing a monetary contribution to Center Kitchen Collective.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Thank you. Okay, discussion on this item? Anything?
I'd
We
like
can
to
start
actually
this.
make a statement if others don't have anything, I don't know.
Any other comments? No.
It's from a previous manager, and I'd like to read his words, it's not mine. I think it lays the foundation philosophically, and I think it's important to provide a bridge from the past to now and everything that's transpired, and I think these words do it, and I think it'll convey a lot of meaning toward the public, and hopefully to new board members that'll come on through the election. So it'll only take a few minutes, despite the fact that it looks like I have a lot of writing here. So previously in our discussion, I identified many specific ways this request is very consistent with our county, regional, and township plans and assessments. Tonight, I would like to read a brief excerpt from the spring 2019 Township newsletter, which so eloquently provides the context to see how phenomenal a match this is for our township. Our previous manager was writing the newsletter address and entitled it, "Our Community Embodies the Elements of Greatness." Then Township Manager Dave Prabalka referred to a concept in a book called Good to Great, and he asked the question, how can Ferguson Township be great? And then he went on to answer. And he said, we all know the decades-old storyline. We all know the decades-old storylines. Ferguson Township has some of the most productive agricultural zoning in the state. Ferguson Township preserves more farmland than any other municipality in the county. Ferguson Township enforces a growth boundary to prevent sprawl and protect farming. These statements are each imbued with value and the products of many years of hard work from dedicated farmers, local businesses, residents, and public officials. They represent what makes our community good. Let's talk about what we are doing to become great. In recent years, I have been proud to witness and be a part of an outpouring of community involvement in sustaining agriculture as a business in the township. A farmer's market at St. Paul Lutheran Church in Pine Grove Mills is entering its then second year of operation, featuring local and regional vendors selling a wide variety of craft food and wares. A group of dedicated farmers and individuals volunteered their free time to make a positive impact on agriculture by commenting on the township land use regulations. An agritourism committee of the Chamber of Business and Industry of Center County and Central Pennsylvania Convention and Visitors Bureau has been convened to look at sharing our county's rich heritage with the world. A small area plan is being prepared for Pine Grove Mills with a focus on highlighting the unique character of West Ferguson Township. And finally, the farming community is making their voices heard in a meaningful way in initiatives related to source water protection and stormwater management. Last paragraph. Participation from the township's agricultural community has been far-reaching and thoughtful. Instead of viewing government as a regulatory burden and an obstacle to the viability of sustainable agriculture as a business, partnerships are being formed to benefit everyone while building on our defining values and character. What is most encouraging is that this is not a government-led initiative or attributable to any one individual or group. Rather, this is a consortium of many individuals and interests coming together in a meaningful way to effect lasting change in an industry that has defined our community for centuries. I'm excited to be even a small part of this movement and look forward to continuing our journey from good to great with you all. And he just really was so eloquent there, and I think he just really provided a great context and foundation for us to feel really secure in moving forward with supporting an endeavor such as this. So,
Thank you.
it really spoke to me for context.
Thank you. Other discussion on this item? I want to say thanks to the manager for putting this all together, including the resolution on this. It's very, very much appreciated, your efforts in that. So I think this is a roll call vote.
Yes, it is, Madam Chair. This is a roll call vote for Resolution 2023-16. Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Gracie Griffin?
Yes.
Ms. Deneni?
Yes.
Ms. Strickland?
Yes. Great, thank you. Okay, up next is rescind approval of the Pine Hall Traditional Town Development General Master Plan. Ms. Wargo.
Thank you. On August 19th, 2019, the Pine Hall Traditional Town Development General Master Plan was approved with conditions by the Board of Supervisors. Since the approval, the master plan has been held up in appeals by different parties involved. Provided in the agenda is a memorandum from Christina Bassett, Community Planner, dated August 16th, 2019, outlining the terms and conditions of approval, as well as the master plan linked below. The township has been notified that the applicant for the Pine Hall Traditional Town Development General Master Plan no longer has equitable interest in the property. As such, staff is recommending the Board of Supervisors to rescind the approval of the Pine Hall Traditional Town Development General Master Plan. Staff's recommendation is that the Board of Supervisors rescind approval of the master plan.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and start with a motion.
This is Patty. I move that the board rescind the approval of the master plan.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion on this item. Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Thank you. Okay. Up next is the preliminary design of municipal separate storm sewer system MS4 pollutant reduction plan projects, and that is with Mr. Dave Modriker.
Good evening. So tonight, the board is being asked to authorize staff to solicit a request for proposals for professional design services. I'd like to give you a little bit of background. So you may want to think back on a work session that the stormwater engineer and I participated in with you and gave you a little bit of information on this. If you recall, we have a municipal separate storm sewer permit, which has a pollutant reduction plan piece of it. So that's the MS4 PRP. And in particular, we talked about potential projects on a reach of Slab Cabin Run, in particular between Chestnut and Butternut Street. And we talked about a project on a tributary to Beaver Branch. That would be a section of that stream in Piney Ridge. And we also talked about this concept of participating in an existing project, which is the duck pond, and getting credits. So what we need to do is reduce our pollutant load a certain amount based on our permit. And these are the projects that were included in the plan that was submitted and approved by DEP. Now, in these sections, we did talk about reaches that could be longer than this. We gave you some preliminary costs. What we would like the board to do is authorize staff to solicit a request for proposals for professional design services for the preliminary design of the piece on Slab Cabin Run and the piece on Beaver Branch. Now, one of the things that we said we would come back and talk to the board about before we get too far into final design or construction is, do we want to participate, in the duck pond project or not? So that is still on the table. That's not something that you're deciding tonight. I do have some narrative in the packet that describes a little bit more background about, why we need to do this, at this point. So I think suffice it to say that it is possible that when we get the proposal back, some elements of that proposal will be more than some of the line items in our budget, in particular Fund 20-408-317. They may come in within the funds allocated, but certainly we would be able to accommodate that work and the anticipated cost within the greater Fund 20 for a number of reasons. If necessary, reducing the scope of perhaps our pipe lining projects, the large project, on in Park Hills Drainage Way. That will be going to bid later in the year. We will not be spending all the anticipated construction money there this year. So this is being brought before you so that you understand what we're trying to do. And once we get the proposal, similar to some others that you've seen, we'll bring that back in front of the board for your consideration to authorize the proposals. So tonight, we're asking the board to authorize staff to solicit a request for proposals for professional design services for the preliminary design of the MS4 PRP projects on sections of Slab Cabin Run and a section of a tributary to Beaver Branch.
All right, thank you. Would someone like to make that motion?
This is Patty. I move that the Board of Supervisors authorize the staff to solicit everything that Dave Modricker just said.
This is Corey, I second.
Thanks. Any discussion or questions? Not seeing any. I'll just say there was a lot of information included in the agenda, so I'm really appreciative of that. So I think that's probably why there are no questions. And like Mr. Modricker had said, we'd had a work session with the stormwater engineer and Mr. Modricker, and there was a lot of explanation given at that time too on these possible projects. So again, just thanks for all that clear information that you provided to the board. So seeing no other discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to new business. Up first is the consent agenda. Is there any item that anyone would like to remove from that? And if not, I'll take a motion to accept.
I move to accept the consent agenda.
This is Patty, I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Thank you. Okay, next up is a proclamation of the Township of Ferguson, Center County, Pennsylvania, to officially recognize Ferguson Township Arbor Day. And back to Mr. Modricker.
Yes. So there is a proclamation in your packet, and we're asking the Board of Supervisors to adopt that, designating Saturday, April 29th as Ferguson Township's Arbor Day. The event will be held in Tudick Park. It'll be similar in nature to last year, with some additional exciting events, and I hope everybody can attend, and more details are forthcoming.
Thank you. Okay. Would someone like to make the motion?
This is Patty. I move that the Board of Supervisors adopt the proclamation designating Saturday, April 29th as Ferguson Township Arbor Day.
And is there a second?
And I will second that.
Okay, discussion on this item. I'll just say last year's event was fantastic. It was very fun, lots of activities, including a walk around the park where trees were identified, activities in the pavilion, and tree planting. And so it was very fun. And so we'll look forward to that. And I guess all the details of that will be posted on the website. So if anyone's interested, they can follow up there and look for details. So thank you so much. And we have a motion and a second. So all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say no. All right, thank you. And thank you, Dave. Okay, up next is a public hearing on a resolution of the Township of Ferguson, Center County, Pennsylvania, authorizing the township manager to appoint an acting manager during her absence in accordance with the Administrative Code, Chapter 1, Part 2, Section 207, acting manager, and repealing Resolution 2020-09. Ms. Martin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Provided with the agenda is a copy of the resolution as advertised for public hearing, authorizing the township manager to appoint an acting manager during my absence. This is provided under Chapter 2, Section 207 of the Administrative Code, where the manager may appoint a temporary acting manager subject to approval of the Board of Supervisors. This resolution will also repeal Resolution 2020-09 to allow for an updated list of those that can serve in my absence. And provided with the agenda is a recommended motion for the board's consideration.
Thank you. And this is a public hearing, so I'll open the public hearing and accept any comments from the public on this item. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Move that the Board of Supervisors adopt the resolution authorizing the township manager to appoint an acting manager during her absence in accordance with the Administrative Code, Chapter 1, Part 2, Section 207, acting manager, and repealing Resolution 2020-09.
This is Patty, I'll second.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this item?
Can I just get a little bit of history about what happened in Resolution 2020-09 and why, what exactly we're changing in that?
Yes.
Having trouble digging up that resolution. So.
Yes, no problem. So previously, Resolution 2020-09 had former Chief Albright, also had former Finance Director Eric Inderson. It had me listed as the Assistant Township Manager, and it was recognizing former Township Manager Dave Provolka. And so the changes now reflect new staffing and have removed those that are no longer serving. And I forgot to mention, it also designates Mr. James Progar, Assistant Township Manager, to serve in my absence.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Interesting. I didn't know we hadn't repealed that since 2020. So
Yeah.
A lot of updates.
Prior to that, we had done it in 2017. And so, with the hire of me as an assistant manager and onboarding Jenna Wargo as director of planning and zoning. So, every couple of years, we tend to update this to allow for the manager to have options for the event that essentially anytime there's travel overnight outside of the state, it allows for the manager to designate a individual that's on this list and only on this list as approved by the Board of Supervisors to provide operational management in the absence of the manager.
Kind of sounds like the president. When they're out of the country, it goes to the next in line.
All right. Okay, thank you. So we have a motion and a second, and this is a roll call vote.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, this is a roll call vote for roll call vote for resolution 2023-17. Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Gracie Griffin?
Yes.
Ms. Denini? Ms. Strickland?
Yes.
Madam Chair, it passes with majority vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is appointments to the Tax Review Board and Zoning Hearing Board. We'll go to the manager.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Provided with the agenda are two applications. The township received an application from Ms. Jennifer Penzick to serve on the Tax Review Board. Also received an application submitted by Dr. Yangling Zhu to serve on the Zoning Hearing Board. And there are provided with the agenda two recommended motions for the board's consideration.
Thank you. Okay, so we could start with any questions on this or discussion so that we can go straight into there's two separate motions. Not seeing any, so we can go to the first motion if someone would like to make that.
I move that the Board of Supervisors appoint Jennifer Pennick to the Tax Review Board for a term expiring 12/31/2023.
This is Patty, I'll second.
Thanks. Any discussion on that item? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go to the second motion.
I move that the Board of Supervisors appoint Yangling Zhu to the Zoning Hearing Board for a term expiring 12/31/2023.
This is Patty, I'll second.
Thanks. Any further discussion on that item? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 5, consideration of the waiver application for 180 Science Park Court. Back to Ms. Wargo.
Thank you. On April 5th, 2023, Pantera Engineering, on behalf of their client, Martha Crothers, requested a waiver from Chapter 22512 sidewalks for the 180 Science Park Court minor subdivision plan. This minor plan proposes a 2-lot subdivision located at 180 Science Park Court. This property is zoned R1. The applicant is requesting a waiver from providing sidewalks along the parcels since the lot is located in an established neighborhood with no sidewalks on either side of the street. Provided in the agenda is the application. Staff and Planning Commission have reviewed the request, and we are recommending approval of the waiver for 22512 sidewalks for the 180 Science Park Court minor subdivision plan.
This is Patty, I move that the Board of Supervisors approve the motion just read by Jenna Wargo.
This is Corey, I second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Okay, thank you. And per a previous motion that passed, we removed item number 6. So we'll move to communications to the board.
I have had none.
Yeah, I didn't have any.
Okay, seeing none there, we can move to calendar items. If there's anything the manager would like to highlight under there.
We have some calendar items that are outside of our routine scheduled authorities, boards, and commissions. So I'll just bring attention that we have the watershed cleanup day scheduled for April 22nd. Additionally, we have outside of our regular routine items listed, the household hazardous waste drop-off event for April 28th and April 29th. as well as previously mentioned Ferguson Township Arbor Day, April 29th. And we also intend to host a leave ceremony event in recognition that our Public Works building has been recognized for being LEED certified. And that will be held on May 25th.
Great, thank you. Is there anything else anyone needs to bring up before I take a motion to adjourn?
We didn't miss anything, did we? We're only 33 minutes in.
Okay, seeing nothing, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. This is Patty.
And I second, so we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Thank you.